and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Now, live from Chicago, the Hal Sparks radio program mega worldwide.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Hal Sparks, actor, comedian, and multimedia personality.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hal Sparks.
All right, let's do this.
Good morning, Johnny Million. How are you this fine Saturday?
You get to see a different part of my room.
Oh yeah, that's right. You've rotated around. There's a girl and a proper closet full of guitars.
Indeed.
That's very organized of you. That's
a little bit of cat litter too.
All right. Well, that is the trade-off in a male-female relationship. Oftentimes, is I will let you have a place for your guitars. But it will. But that is where the litter box is going to go. Sure, that's it's just part of the deal. It's part of the great bargain of life that we all experience. Johnny Million, there is there are very few stories these days that make me laugh out loud when I see them. And I take it back. Some of them are, but it's kind of like almost being startled. That kind of a laugh. But I mentioned this yesterday in my live stream, but apparently Biden is building some border facilities, and Mexico is paying for it. Now, it's not quite.
I saw that.
It's not quite build that wall. And, it's not quite Mexico will pay for it in that regard. But it's really close.
Mexico's throwing a lot of money at this thing.
It's embarrassingly close for, surveillance and processing facilities. And they're cleaning up their side of the border as far as where people gather and stuff so that it's not squalor. So that basically it's used as a cudgel by I would guess the extremes of both parties in the United States, that look how people are being treated and look how people should be treated, I suppose is the argument back and forth. $1.5 billion is part of Mexico's investment in this. And it's one of those things where it should have been part of the, on a lighter note, here's a squirrel that can water ski, end of the Newsday comedy that should just be there. And I want to welcome everybody who's in our chat room at infotainmentwars.com and, of course, at fwank.com, FWANQ.com, which will take you to the Twitch page where you can subscribe today and help out the show, and patreon.com/HalSparks. There, I got it out of the way. And today's episode is brought to you by you. There's a myriad of stories to talk about. Once again, Philip Bittner will be joining us in the second hour today. Yeah, to talk about us from there. Oh, Hal Vickery, thank you so much. Build something with this, and I'm paying for it. Thank you, Hal Vickery. We will. It will mainly go to Road Rig, which is expanding. Where to start? The big story, I think, that still deserves a lot of OMGs is, of course, the tale told by Cassidy Hutchinson about about Trump wanting to go to the Capitol when he left his speech so badly that he cursed out the driver, said, "Dude, I'm the effing president, take me to the Capitol," and then lunged for the wheel and then lunged for the clavicle of one of the guys, who was driving, or the clavicle, right, for his clavicle, which I would just say is a shirt collar grab. Like, listen, I'm the president. See, you're gonna do what you told. You're gonna end up sleeping with the fishes with concrete sneakers. It reeked of that kind of movie-esque, because everything with Trump is a reboot. You know what I mean? He has no original lines. He's the Carlos Mencia of shock politicians.
Theory with his wife who fell down the stairs. It's like, everybody blames the husband for pushing his wife down the stairs. Get something new.
Yeah. Well, and the other question, of course, is that he probably won't be blamed because most people think she could take him. So
I believe she could have.
She could have taken him. Yeah. I mean, and again, for the record, very sad for the family, very sad for the kids.
Sad. Yeah, that's awful.
This is, it's, the fact that she was alone for a good period of time, as it happened, that's a terrible thing to happen to anybody, especially at that age. Period. End of story. And it is not surprising to me that the depositions of the Trump children have been punted a week. The fact that Trump's himself was punted, I find lame. I find ridiculous, especially because the accusation she made against him in court those many years ago would point to the direction that he's not exactly somebody that, would be her first choice for eulogy, and I would guess. Secondly, he's had 2 other wives since. So the idea that that the only reason you could expect, and believe me, we all have exes that we still hold dear, but it didn't appear to be that she was one of them in his life. And also the idea that he's mourning in this situation anything other than his own mortality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get the feeling that when somebody passes in Trump's circle, it's just a momentary shock of, wow, they were my age, and that's it. But as the story, has poured out over the last couple of weeks, there's a knee-jerk reaction on the Republican side right now to just claim fake news. They're trying to run with everything's fake news. So when Cassidy Hutchinson testified, the story that she told was immediately rebutted by the 2 agents that were there, both of whom are Trump sycophants. One who ended up working in the White House, stopped his, got promoted out of the Secret Service into the White House itself. And since then has been kind of a water carrier for Trump, so no surprise there. However, they forgot to tell everybody else that they told besides her to not tell anybody about the story. And so many sources have been coming forward with CNN and others that have connections with the Secret Service that have talked to them over the years, and they're all like, yeah, they told us the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. We all heard the exact same story that Cassidy Hutchinson told. And and again, what I have said is that if they come in under oath and dispute the story, what they also must dispute is whether or not they told her that story. That's crucial to it, right? Because that's where the lie. I mean, they could have just been BSing her to impress her. We had to manhandle the president today, or something. That said, as these stories have started to bubble up, it is now known that after a request from the January 6th committee, the Secret Service, members of the Secret Service or individuals inside the Secret Service, we have yet to fill out that part of it, have erased messages around January 5th and 6th.
What?
They have erased text messages that they had that sent to each other internally on January 5th and 6th. Mm-hmm. Which, first of all, they gotta know nothing disappears from the internet. The internet is forever. Secondly, that's illegal. That's straight up illegal because they're supposed to preserve those records. And thirdly, that if who didn't erase messages regarding January 5th and 6th, Johnny? You know who didn't do that?
No, who didn't do that?
Cassidy Hutchinson. That's who. Cassidy Hutchinson.
Does she have all that evidence?
But she has copious notes, and she, in all of her communications, made them available, even when she had a Trump lawyer who was pushing her not to testify, made those things available to the committee. They have them. I don't know why anybody thinks they're going to go away with this. This is one of the most ham-handed and stupid things ever. But then when you're talking about Trump and Trump loyalists, again, we must have our moment of gratitude, our weekly moment of gratitude that the cuckoo that Trump tried to pull off was directed, designed, and implemented by the biggest morons on earth. And I can't tell you how important that is. And hopefully at some point we will, there will be a big comeuppance about that. There will be a moment where everybody recognizes that not only did stupid people try to carry this off, but that only stupid people would try to carry this off, and that even
Exactly.
the Trumpian wannabes like DeSantis are not going to try to do this. This is unique to Trump and his ilk, and that even the most Trumpian people aren't going to get elected again. They are not, and DeSantis, even if he punches his way forward, is going to end up disappointing Trump world by being a lot more Brian Kemp and a lot less Donald Trump, and they'll hate him for it. The funny part is, new polling coming out, Republicans 49% want Trump to run again, less than 50%.
Oh, wow.
He's their choice. That's the people who choose that they think he would run and win. And then Trump, and then DeSantis is second with 25%. A quarter of Republicans. And you got to know that half of the people that support Donald Trump are going to think that DeSantis shivved Trump to get to the front of the line and aren't going to vote for him. So his fight is gathering all those, the 51% that don't like Trump. Well, if that's the body you're pulling from as far as voter base, you're ice skating uphill.
Mm-hmm.
That means both of them are, because Trump is underwater with his own party, and DeSantis, if he does gain ground, is going to look like a criminal to the people who do like Trump. So I'm just going to enjoy this. I'm just kind of, I got to say, there's like a deep breath that comes with this, and you just hold the breath and release
I really
it.
do not like DeSantis.
Yeah, nor do I. And so therefore I am enjoying watching this part of it play out, because I am not impressed. That said, we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. They discovered who it was that brought Trump's fake set of electors to the Capitol to try and get it into the record. And again, so lucky that there was not a qualified human engaged in any of this. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Mike Kelly's office is obviously the director of it, and this guy, Mike Roman, who was Trump's 2020 director of Election Day operations, where he obviously and clearly failed miserably in his attempt at getting on actual election day, it would seem, that in that process, he was so bad at this that he wanted a do-over. That's all. He just wanted a do-over. He wanted to clean this up from the and in some way, get back in the boss's good graces. And the way they decided to do that was drum up a bunch of fake electors, and deliver those to the House on January 6th, so that they could just pretend that those people were really the electors for these states, and that those people were genuine, really represented the will of the people, regardless of the vote count. And then they would.
If they got farther than they did, how far does that really go?
Right.
I don't understand that.
Let's be abundantly clear. It doesn't go anywhere. The fascinating part to me is, I guess you gotta give them credit for trying.
Oh boy, that's a tough pill.
Yeah, but the reality is that this guy's probably going to get thrown under the bus, and early, and then a lot of this is going to end up him rolling on them. I mean, it was so funny. This week, I want to say it was Rudy Giuliani. I did a clip from his, Rudy's Common Sense podcast, which is just horrifying and ironic and terrible and gross and awful. And
my dad would so have listened to that.
He was making the point that, this is how you get, he goes, he knows mob, cases, and this is how you get mob people. You get the little guys and you work your way up the chain or whatever, which is ironically exactly exactly what
That's what they're doing.
yes, what the January 6th committee is doing. It is precisely what you would do. And in many ways, some of these folks, as they see sort of the mid-levels on other issues within this get in trouble, they're sort of like throwing themselves under the bus. Like that's the new version of the mercy of the court. It's just I don't know these guys. They're basically pulling a Trump. And so this was he was this guy Mike Roman was subpoenaed in February, so they have his testimony. This is going to be one of the stacked testimonies that we're going to see on video in some of the upcoming exchanges. But they finally released who it was. But according to Politico, literally got the scoop on this, I guess. Mike Roman, then Trump's 2020 director of election day operations, delivered those false elector certificates signed by pro-Trump activists in Michigan and Wisconsin to Rep. Mike Kelly's, who's from Pennsylvania. Again, the idea that this dude is conduiting fake electors from other states. But all right, he was Mike Kelly's chief of staff at the time. Both people told Politico. Kyle Cheney and Nicholas Wu reported Kelly was a Trump ally in the effort to overturn the 2020 election, and his then top aide received the documents from Roman before deputizing a colleague to disseminate copies on Capitol Hill, according to both people. Fake electors, he's deputized. I mean, they might have as well had like a knighting ceremony using a wooden sword. The childish nature of, I mean, it goes to like these people who still follow the Confederate Constitution, or that like secondary constitution that those like sovereign citizens dudes made up in like 1975, and so officially the real president. Oh yeah, or the Black Hebrew Israelites guys who have a capital in Maryland or whatever that is the true capital of America, where they fight I guess like Africans and Indian people, not Native American, but in East Indian people who apparently mated with white people to make the Cherokee, who are their natural enemy. I don't know. It sounds like that. You know what I mean? Where they all have like their own robes, you know, and they just make up their
robe.
Yeah, I know. Me too. It's like that Wild Wild Country, the documentary on Netflix about the sex cult, and the first 2 episodes you're like, this is terrible, and by the 4th episode you're like, I want a cult. Where's my cult?
I can do this better.
Yeah, totally. So ProPublica noted that
poison a town.
Roman, yes, right. Yeah, I could spray stuff on a salad bar. Where's the heavy lifting in that? So
salad.
Yeah, in that town, the irony. So ProPublica noted Roman, who made roughly $246,000 in salary from the Koch-backed Freedom Partners, the ironically named Freedom Partners, the hilariously named, and by the way, I don't know how you make partner, but I'm sure it involves a robe and a wooden sword, and they beat you with reeds, and you have to, you know, like it's like Skull and Bones, only dumber. According to his financial disclosure, he was also a contributor to the conservative news site Breitbart, shocker, and was tapped to run Trump's election protection, quote, poll watching efforts in November. Oh, that phrase, it as grotesque as it is ironic. A veteran Republican operative who got his start in politics by helping to persuade a judge to throw out hundreds of mail-in ballots is organizing an army of volunteers for President Donald Trump's campaign to monitor voting in Democratic-leaning areas on Tuesday, the AP reported on Election Day. Mike Roman, Trump's director of Election Day operations, is a former White House aide from Pennsylvania who gathered claims in 1993 of voter fraud, resulting in a court ruling overturning election results and getting his candidate seated in the Pennsylvania State Senate. It's a strategy that Trump has been advocating on Twitter and on the stump. Basically, he does this. He like doctor shops.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? For the drug that he's looking for. It's
sweet indigo.
Right. And did we get was there a super chat? Did I miss it?
Yeah, we got a super chat.
Excellent.
Sweet Indigo 45.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Sweet Indigo 45. So in 2015, Politico reported on Roman under the heading "The Koch Intelligence Agency" from the Koch brothers. The political network helmed by Charles and David Koch had quietly built a secretive operation that conducts surveillance and intelligence gathering on its liberal opponents, viewing it as a key strategic tool in its effort to reshape American public life. The competitive intelligence team has a staff of 25, including one former CIA analyst, and operates from one of the nondescript Koch network offices clustered near the courthouse metro shop in suburban Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
They act all cloak and dagger like the CIA. I'm telling you, this is like cosplay coups. It's a cosplay coup. It's a coup class. It's a coups play. Cosplay coups. I don't know. I'll say it anyways. It's basically like the Comic-Con of coups. There you go. They act all cloak and dagger like the CIA. There was a joke about how hardly anyone ever met Mike Roman. It was like if you wanted to find him, he'll be in a trench coat on the National Mall, obviously with pants legs tied to below his knees.
Right.
The Select Committee subpoena says it appears Roman helped direct Trump staffers on the phony electors scheme. That's illegal.
Is that how it appears?
Yeah, that's clearly what I like to call the crimen, and criminy. He's doing the criminy, and as but at the same time, while he's obviously is a writer for Breitbart, a former Koch fiend, the KOCH, the Koch fiends, as one of those folks, it's clear that he is sort of shameless and thinks there'll never be any repercussions. He's about to FAFO, it appears, in the upcoming Jan 6 committee hearings, which is a joy also as well. And we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this, where I get to reload the page with Chicago and hopefully fix our audio issue. We'll be back right after this. It's Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, now with 100% more Johnny Million.